Welcome to Screenwriters Rewatch. If you've been keeping up, you will know that Alex and I are on a journey through the wizarding world of Harry Potter. And this week, we're joining Harry as he enters the Chamber of Secrets. We hope you will stay with us through this series with our full length discussions over on our podcast as well. Thank you again, Alex, for joining me. How are you finding this journey so far?
Well, it's a journey I've treaded many a time, and coming with it with a new perspective instead of just sitting down and watching the films and enjoying this little world. I'm sort of analysing a little bit more, and I'm finding it painful this time round, if I'm honest. Um, I watched it last night and I forgot it was almost 3 hours long, and I was going, oh, can we just get to
Mhm.
something soon, please? But yeah, it's Harry Potter, as you know, it's the second one in, and we're on the search for the Chamber of Secrets, and Harry is uh, got an actual emphasis on what to do this time, and he's actually having something to solve instead of just wombling through his time at Hogwarts. Um, and we get to understand a little bit more of the school, I think, more so than the world of the wizarding sort of thing. Obviously the first one was very much this is that, this is that, and this is more about, well, let's understand the school a little bit more. We're gonna really sort of almost do a bottle episode, as you would call it in sort of TV terms, which is normally when you're all in one room. That's a sort of a bottle episode, and this is almost sort of, it feels like really that once we're at Hogwarts, we're slammed into Hogwarts. Everything's inside. We sort of only briefly have a breath of fresh air when we step outside for a moment, but really it's sort of within the walls and trying to find the chamber that it is. It's not my favorite. I think we're going to get a couple down before we favorite. It's still in that really early childlike sort of stages. We're still with the Christopher Columbus directing, or Chris Columbus. He didn't discover. He didn't try to find the West Indies. Um, we're still in that really thing. This one is really broad in its comedy as well. Uh, Almost sitcom like, particularly with the opening scene, which we can sort of delve into a little bit more later on. But it sort of really is very broad comedy, um, but actually has some darker tones to it, some real sort of interesting themes and everything that sort of starts appearing through this one, and we start to understand uh, the characters, I think, a little bit more, and particularly Malfoy and his upbringing in his world. Um, yeah, I think we really start to understand that sort of side of it a little bit more now. Um, More so than having to keep learning about Harry and Ron and Hermione, because we sort of established them. It's nice to sort of spend time on Harry's antagonist for the first time, really, and understand what he's about and where he comes from. Uh, but yeah, it's not my favorite. It was hard. It was hard to watch. It was a bit of a slog at times, and I was begging for it to end at the end.
It is interesting. I think I felt the same. I definitely, my energy and enthusiasm for it had run out because of that formulaic, sort of high energy, childlike sort of representation of, sort of presentation of the film. And I actually, it wasn't till I was reviewing my notes that I started to really pick out some interesting points, which I cannot wait to explore with you in the podcast, because there are the grown-up themes around the abuse that Harry experiences at home, but there's also some really dark themes that start appearing at Hogwarts. And I think it had. eluded me a little bit. Some, like one or two, were very obvious, but then there were a couple more subtle ones that I only really got from reviewing it. And I did think, like you mentioned, we are starting to very, very tentatively explore the world of Harry Potter. We get taken in early on to a dark part of Diagon Alley, Nocturne Alley we go to, and also we get to experience what the Forbidden Forest is. And as the films progress, we get to see just a little, we crawl out of the map a little bit further and just a little bit further, and until, the final film, when we are just in the world, because Harry's no longer a child anymore and he can go wherever he wants. So that kind of threading that maturity is something that I'm really keen to keep an eye on as we move forwards. But yes, I can't say too much because I want to save it for the podcast. So if you are willing to join us, please do search for the Screenwriters Rewatch, the script department, wherever you get your podcast, and or you can see the description in the video. There'll be a link there, and let's get stuck in again. So we'll see you over there.